It's my pleasure to introduce Bharat Kakar this morning and his associate, Dan Sheed. Bharat is the founder and owner of FITOPIA, which is a cutting-edge technology-based fitness approach with electrical, what's the M? Mechanical stimulation.
Muscle, yeah,
I
muscle
forgot.
stimulation.
Anyway, I'm going to let him take it from here. I think we're going to learn a lot, and hopefully it's going to be something that might be an option for some of you who are interested. All right, Bharat.
Thank you, Maureen. First of all, thank you to everyone for joining and giving us the opportunity to talk about what EMS is. EMS, as Maureen was saying, stands for Electrical Muscle Stimulation. And we have been in Cincinnati for the last couple of years. The history, quick history is, and we'll talk a little bit about that. It's over 50 years old technology, started in Europe and just was approved in the US about 2.5 years ago. The main purpose of EMS is that it is electrical impulses. It is, it adds, what do you call it, like a false load onto your muscles, so you don't have to lift any kind of weights, but it makes you do different reps and stuff, and we'll get into a lot more detail about that. It is a cutting edge technology, and it is brand new to the US, and we're very, very happy to bring it into Cincinnati and all of Ohio for that matter. We'll go to page 2. So the topics that we will cover are, we'll start with a little bit about what EMS is and what it stands for and how does it work. Then we'll talk a little bit about FITOPIA, who we are, how EMS can help improve quality of life. There's a lot of research that has been done, and we picked 2 research papers, recent ones at that. One is 2021, and the second one was just conducted in 2023. So we'll talk a little bit about the research and the results of the research as it pertains to Parkinson's. We do have a client who is currently working out with us, and we'll talk a little bit about where she started and where she is currently. And after that, we'll open up to Q&A. We're quite okay with somebody asking questions mid-presentation as well. Or if you have some chat questions, then we can do it that way as well too.
You can go to the next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to give you just a very basic overview of what this is, because whole body EMS is a different and new application of something that all of you may be more familiar with, which is a traditional E-stim or TENS. So if you've ever been to physical therapy, they will usually go and in some cases put little gel pads on muscles and use this very similar technology in a rehabilitation or a therapeutic setting for one muscle group at a time. This approach is much more comprehensive. So it's whole body electromuscle stimulation. And so one of the things that is new and kind of cutting edge about this is the technology has progressed in recent years to make it possible to stimulate a lot of different muscles at one time. And so another really, really cool thing about this is that it's now finally affordable. This used to be extremely expensive. And what we'll talk about in the future is it was reserved specifically for like high-level Olympic athletes or astronauts or military population. And now it's finally accessible to a consumer market at a reasonable price. And so we're really excited to be able to offer this high-level technology at a more affordable and accessible medium. So one of the also benefits of this technology is that it targets both motor and sensory nerves. And so depending on what you need to use it for, if someone is having issues with muscle coordination, there is a way that you can bias the type of training and the type of stim that is used to create improvements in that area. Or if there is someone experiencing chronic pain issues, you can also use it to target those. And even in the same exercise session, work for both goals. And so there's a lot of versatility in what this technology offers. Another aspect is that it artificially, meaning not from someone's own body, but using the stimulation and this machine, it improves the way that natural muscle contractions are performed. Because what your body is going to do naturally is use the minimal amount of energy possible to accomplish the task that you want to complete. And this is good if you're trying to preserve resources and live as a human, right? But in some cases, especially in the case of Parkinson's disease, this can lead to deconditioning faster than when using EMS, which is it's selective to the entire muscle fiber instead of just the amount that your body is willing to use to accomplish your task. And so you're getting a much bigger bang for your buck per muscle contraction than you would by just using a typical natural like brain signal. So this specific technology involves 8 to 10 muscle groups at a time, meaning 20 or so pads on the body. So there's like your pectorals, legs, arms, back. And so most of the major muscle groups that are used in day-to-day movement are targeted simultaneously during one session. And so we are able to target a very holistic approach within a very short amount of time, which can be very advantageous for people that have high fatigue levels and where that becomes an issue, because in some cases you can spend between 45 to 60 to 120 minutes trying to target every individual muscle group. That can be done within 20 minutes using this technology. I kind of delivered this, I talked about this before, however, it does engage 90% of the muscle fiber per contraction. And so within each muscle fiber or muscle cell, I should say, there are different types of motor units, and some are more, they're used for more high velocity, like quick contractions, but are very, very intense. And some are used for more postural muscles and balance muscles. And so what your body will do, like I was saying before, is select specifically for whatever they need to be used. And in this case, it just targets every bit of that muscle. And so no specific skill set is left unworked during our session. And so the main conclusions that it delivers a safe and time-effective exercise session that really does produce incredible results for both Parkinson's and just typical populations that use this technology.
Yeah, some of our clients have mentioned that they go to a gym, they're spending time working on their chest, then they have to find a set of machines to work on their back, then they do the legs, then they're doing the arms, and it is in a serial manner. Whereas with the whole body, as Dan mentioned, and as you can see in the picture as well too, we have pads on every major muscle group. And because of that, we can work every single major muscle group at the same time. And in 20 minutes, you have a complete workout.
Does anyone have any questions on the sort of basis of what whole body EMS training entails? All right, perfect. Well, if we could go to the next slide, Bart, I'll give you an overview of where it started and where we are now.
So the slide is very busy. We'll keep it very, very simple. Essentially, EMS technology from a fitness perspective is over 50 years old. You know, it started up in Russia, and then in the 70s, it was picked up by Germany and other Western countries, and they developed it and they made it into more of a fitness for everyone. In the 80s, there was a lot more research done as it related to sports. And then in the 90s, it became a very, very common way of exercising, especially in Europe. Just about 3 years ago, it was approved in the US, and it is now gaining traction in the US. We also wanted to showcase to you, as you look around the world, now in the US, there's only 200 locations across the whole country. However, if you look at places like every single, other than Antarctica, every single continent, being Europe, Australia, Africa, it is very, very prevalent there. We're way behind the ball on this. The rest of the world has 15, 20 locations. In fact, we looked at Paris, and there's 72 EMS locations just in the greater Paris area, whereas in Cincinnati we have 2. In all of Ohio we have 2. So, but it is very old technology, and because of that, a lot of research has been done as well. And the research is typically done in Asia, it's done in Europe, and now the research is starting in US as well. The great thing is, it is great scientists, great minds who have been working on this over the last 50 years, researching over the last 50 years. A lot of the information is currently available on NIH.gov website as well.
Next slide, please. So I definitely touched on this briefly before, but just going into more of the real like hit home messages about how this stim specifically works is that in normal muscle contractions, your brain and your body will do the least amount of work possible, making it very hard to get efficient exercise sessions, especially if you reach easy fatigue thresholds or have difficulty gripping. Like say you want to work on like any arm muscles or like biceps, triceps, picking things up, you can run into the fact that before you have fatigued the muscle group you're trying to work, your grip strength or the way that you interact with the exercise machine may give out. And so this type of stim is really, really good for being not specific to all of the areas that you need to work and not just the strengths of your session, your body, right? So that's one of the kind of pluses as well. And in any sort of neurodegenerative disease, there can be effects on the body that make it so that like getting into normal exercise positions can be difficult. And I don't, all of you know this 1,000 times better than I would, but there are certain things that are just made more easy by wearing an EMS suit and creating an exercise session that is more controlled versus having to go and do some movements that may challenge balance systems in a way that may not be so safe. Versus in EMS contractions, you're getting almost 100% of every muscle fiber that is being activated every time. It is going to, it's not dependent on
Can't they just,
brain and
that's
how
the name of it?
that day. It is entirely
Audible?
agnostic of all of the different factors that may have gone into how you're feeling, such as you're sleeping, how well you're covered, if it is too hot out, too cold out. It is going to give you the same exact exercise every single time. And that can be fantastic for seeing progressive long-term results. And overall, it's just a very consistent, easily accessible way to get the type of exercise that you need to maintain a high quality of life and activities of daily living at a threshold that you need to be able to live your life well. All right, next slide, please.
Are there any questions so far?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I see that it looks like a bodysuit you put on. How does it work for the legs and feet?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It was an excellent segue question into what the equipment looks like. So thank you for asking. We use 2 different manufacturers at our location. What you see on the PowerPoint presentation is going from the left to the right, and we'll go top to the bottom, is our EMS machine itself that provides the impulses. Then there are the jackets that our clients will wear. And on the right side, we're showcasing a couple of the clients who are working out with this. So we have 5 different jacket types that we're showcasing. Then we're showing glute belts as well. And then we have arm straps. These are arm and leg straps that our clients use. And this is what we use to deliver the impulses into your arms and into your legs. In addition to that, in our Red Bank location, we have the suit that's very similar to what you see in the slides before. And this is what Dan was mentioning, where we have pads for the chest, for the abdominal, upper, middle, lower back. So, for the glutes here, and then for your hamstrings and for your quads. So there are pads on every single major muscle group. They're on every single major muscle group, and we do have arm and leg bands to make sure the impulses are going to the major muscles in your legs and your arms. We don't use pads for forearms, and we don't use pads or calf muscles, they tend to exhaust very quickly, very easily, and you will start getting Charlie horse in your calf muscles. So we do different exercises to engage your calf muscles, your balancing muscles, but all the major muscle groups do get pads on them. Additionally, you see the EMS machine that generates impulses at one of our locations. We also have this white box over here, which does the same work as the machine on the other side. And it also, its purpose is to generate the impulses that deliver to the major muscle group through these wires.
And so, in addition to answer your question more directly too, the reason that, like he was saying before, that the more like farther away segments of the body, like the legs and the feet, don't specifically have stim pads on them is because they do fatigue at a quicker rate because it is a smaller muscle group. But one of the things that can be directly targeted is the type of exercise that we use to be able to exhaust those areas at the same rate as the larger muscle groups that traditionally would have a higher fatigue threshold, right? And so usually you would have to do more work to get those muscle groups tired. But by wearing this suit, most of the time, all muscle groups, even if they're small, if they're like the foot stabilizers, or if it's your calf muscle, or if it's your quad, they're all getting tired at the same rate instead of having to fatigue one muscle group out just to get a minimal threshold of work at the larger ones. Does that clarify your question, or is there something different you were looking for?
No, that's fine. That takes care of it.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Excellent.
All right.
And you will see, we have some examples of clients working out. We have two clients over here with different goals. But we wanted to showcase that it is folks like me, like Dan, like you, like everyone who comes and works out and uses EMS to improve their quality of life.
Okay. We could go to next slide, please. So the equal, if not even more important side of FITOPIA, just as a company and as a brand, is the fact that we are a very personalized exercise experience. We use personal trainers in conjunction with this fantastic tool. Like it is a one-on-one relationship between the way that our trainers know how to use the technology to give our clients the best results possible. And so, as you can see, we've been voted best in Cincinnati businesses for 3 years consecutively because we put the time into doing a very comprehensive evaluation when people come in and understanding what their individualized goals are. And you're not going to get a cookie cutter program. Each one of our clients comes in wanting different things and at a different baseline. And so while we have this fantastic technology that admittedly, if you did just kind of put it on autopilot, it would give you good results. It's a tool. And so we use the tool to augment our exercise selection and very, very solid basis of exercise prescription, exercise understanding, and exercise science to be able to give results that truly could not be achieved using some other modalities of exercise. Even though they're good, they might not be able to get you as far as we are with the combination of EMS and good training, right?
I'll go through the next couple of slides a little bit quicker, just about who we are as FITOPIA. And we do want to get to how not only how EMS works and has helped Parkinson's patients, but also we'll talk a little bit about how we can support the caretakers as well too. On the next slide, essentially, we're the first and only EMS-based fitness in Cincinnati. As Dan mentioned, we do combine EMS and personal training to give a very personalized approach to our clients. Our key goal is to help clients improve their quality of life. It could be an athlete who wants to improve power. It could be a client with multiple sclerosis wanting to improve his or her strength. Our goal is to improve the quality of life of our clients. EMS-fitness, because we are adding involuntary contractions, we're adding false load, or EMS is adding false load onto your body. We don't have to use heavy weights. We don't have to have you jump up and down. We will have a couple of videos of a client with a cognitive issues that we're helping her out. And then we have another client who was wearing a boot for many, many months, and she has atrophied her muscles in one of the legs. And you'll see, we'll use examples of just low impact workouts that really help our clients out. We do focus on strength, we focus on core, we focus on your balancing muscles. I think a lot of times people forget about balancing muscles, which is very important for anybody who's over 55 years old. We also work on improving the functional capabilities that help drive your day-to-day activities. We'll go through the next slide here. As I mentioned in our opening conversation, we do have 2 locations. Westchester Studio, it's right in the backyard of UCH. We actually share the parking lot with UCH. And so it is very easy to find. We're right off of 75. Our Red Bank Studio is next to MedPace building. And we are right again off of 71. So we have 2 very centrally located locations to serve about 90% of the Cincinnati metropolitan population. It is owned and operated by me, but I'm surrounded by a fantastic set of folks who are taking care of clients on a daily basis. We're lucky to have Dan work with us. He's taking his board exams here soon. He's finishing up his doctorate in physical therapy at UC, and we're just super, super glad to have him. In addition to him, we have a couple other folks who are doing physical therapy training as well. So you know that you'll be in great hands with us. And then we have also received a lot of coverage on air as well, and it's on our website, so I will not go through the whole list of it. The other thing I will say is, in addition to EMS being around for over 50 years and therefore established its credibility, we have performed 15,000 training sessions. And so we are well established here, and we are taking really, really good care of our clients. Julie, we can go to the next slide, please. I touched upon a little bit about how our goal is to improve quality of life. Here we wanted to just take a snapshot of different type of folks and talk about how we can help them out. And again, please keep in mind, this is not just pertaining to the Parkinson's patients, but it also pertains to the caretakers. Between the Parkinson's clients and the caretakers, you will most likely fall in one of these 9 categories. A lot of our clients will come to us because they are very, very busy people. And we'll show examples in this few seconds as well. It's a 20-minute whole body workout with 30-minute in and out. It is personal training, and we are focused on you and you only at that time. It is equivalent to 90 minutes to 120 minutes at a gym, purely because we do things in a parallel fashion, working your chest, back, legs, arms at the same time versus doing things sequentially. Athletes, because we tear the muscles, as Dan had mentioned, to the point where, athletes will be able to tear about 65-70% of their muscles. The machines don't care. They're going to tear about 90%, 95, 98% of the muscle fiber. And when the athletes are rebuilding them, they actually improve in overall power because their muscles are denser. A lot of people are new to fitness. We absolutely take a lot of care in working with clients who are new to fitness. They either left it after high school, after college, they got into their daily life, they have kids, and now they want to get back into fitness because they've gained a lot of weight, especially from a COVID perspective, or we're hitting our 50s, 60s, and 70s, and we're seeing a lot of muscle atrophy take place, and we want to reverse our muscle atrophy. And to that regard, we are back to what we consider new to fitness. We do focus on form. It is a new type of workout, and we do strengthen muscles in a very safe manner. The last one I'll talk about before I turn it over to Dan is weight loss. Each session does burn around 1,100 calories. You're burning about 200 calories just by moving while you're working out. The machine is tearing your muscles, is burning another 300 calories. Over the next 48 hours, as your muscles are recovering, you're burning another 600 calories. So on average, with each workout, clients do burn 1,100 calories. It does build lean muscles, and it does improve metabolism. So when we have clients who are looking to lose weight or caretakers looking to lose weight, this is a great place to get started. 90% has to do with nutrition. The 10% we can help with.
Excellent. So the things that I want to talk about now too is one of the components of EMS training is the versatility. And so like Bart was mentioning before, you can have your clients that really are looking for more of that high level athletic performance that does involve very high muscular loads. And that is 1,000% possible with this technology. However, like I was mentioning before, in more specialized clients with different needs that could involve chronic conditions or a little, we'll call them like lower speed, more specialized care, this can help equally as much in different ways. So one of the examples being chronic back pain. You typically a session for a client that this is their main concern, it would still involve about 10 minutes or half of the session being strengthening key musculature such as core activation and just overall body support to be able to eventually work clients towards being able to complete activities of daily living without having this chronic pain. But in addition to that, there is an additional offering and a setting within EMS that is very similar to what you would experience at a physical therapy clinic that is very pain alleviating. And so we will do a little bit of exercise and a little bit of pain relief all in the same session, because we don't want you to walk out of here feeling worse than you came in. That's not the goal, and that's not what anyone wants to remember. And so we have that flexibility within our technology. One of my specific passions within this field is I started, and I love being able to reach clients that traditionally had fitness barriers or have, issues that would not be appropriately addressed in a typical fitness setting. And so we see all of those, and we really try and tailor our experience specifically to individuals' needs. Those being, I personally have seen clients with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I've seen people with bilateral amputations, arthritis, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, like really a whole gamut of client populations. And I love it because it challenges me and us as an industry to work to incorporate things that need to happen to be able to make this an accessible and beneficial fitness experience for you as well. And so we are very, very committed to making that happen. In addition, 50 and up seniors, it's awesome because this type of technology allows us to do, like Bart was saying, load minimized activities that are still building muscle capacity and functional capacity without aggravating arthritic symptoms. New moms are fantastic too, because that, like Molly, who's one of our clients, she's just coming back and she has just normal the activities of daily living and life to deal with, in addition to having to relearn how to use some of the muscles that may have been deactivated for 9 months. And while this isn't, I don't want to call it a chronic condition necessarily, she has had some body changes that can be, the recovery can be sped up by using this technology to turn those muscles on versus having it the natural progression that might take twice as long. And then especially post-injury too, you will see later, one of our clients was coming back from an ankle injury. And whereas if she was in a boot or just gotten out of a boot, a lot of the time it takes a really long time to be able to exercise the way that she used to. But with this technology, we're able to get other 80% of her body going at the same rate that it would have been should she not have been injured, and just minimize the load on a very her ankle, the very small portion of her body, so that she can feel and move somewhat like she did pre-injury, and hopefully speed her recovery back to full capacity post-injury. Next slide, please. So these are the clients I'm talking about, right? You can see right in front of the center, this Susan she was absolutely amazing. And we worked on everything from transfers from floor to standing. She was a teacher. And so one of the things that she had to work on was walking through high school hallways well on prosthetics and not getting trucked by a bunch of like idiot teenagers, right? And so we would work on her getting pushed around a little bit and working on stability while her muscles were being stimmed to help mimic the environment that she needed to be able to live and work in. And so, I mean, the stories go on and on, but all of these clients have the issues that we were talking about before, and we've put the time in to try and figure out the most optimal fitness approach for them to get them to their goals.
Yeah, one of the things we wanted to make sure that we impart on you is these are everyday people. These are folks like you and us. We don't cater to just athletes. We don't want to come across that when you go to Planet Fitness, somebody's already fit and they're getting fitter, or somebody goes to LA Fitness Center, they're already fit, they're getting fitter. This is everyone trying to improve their quality of life the way they know it. And I'll mention Molly again. You know, she's a new mom. Her pelvic floor muscles were stretched when she had the baby, and EMS is pretty much, I think, the only fitness that I know of that actually rebuilds the pelvic floor muscles. So 2 years, 3 years down the road, when she's on trampoline with her baby, she's not like, oh, I have to go pee. And and you know, it is an unfortunate thing of being a mom, but we are here. EMS is able to take care of improving the pelvic floor muscles, which is very, very hard to do otherwise.
Yes. Next slide, please.
And next slide, basically, we're just talking a little bit about like other type of clients who you may know or you may have heard of. So Jeff Thomas from Q102 is a client of ours at our Red Bank location. Sarah Taylor is a weekly, and Zach is every so often client of ours as well. And then Elena Martella, you'll see a couple of videos of her. She's the one who had injured her ankle, and she had severely her muscles in her left leg had decreased a lot, and she was having a difficult time of maintaining balance on that left leg. And our goal was when she was out of the boot, our goal was to help reverse her muscle atrophy. Given that we deliver symmetrical impulses on both sides, it's not like she was pushing with one leg more than the other leg. It was delivering electrical impulses at the same frequency, at the same level. So her muscles were rebuilding at the same level.
Next slide, please. All right.
So on the left-hand side is we have a client who wanted to improve her cognitive physical attributes over here. So we have numbers on each one of those holes, and we are having one of our trainers go through different numbers with her. Okay, press 21, press 25 while she's working out. As you can see, again, it is a low to no impact. The machine is, and the suit is doing all the workout. It is improving her muscles, they're tearing her muscles down, improving her while we're working on her cognitive skills as well too. The second and the third videos are, again, this is Elena when she came back from atrophied muscles and stuff. A lot of the workout is, again, low to no impact. So we don't want you to think that, oh, you come out there, it will be high energy, high impact, we'll have you lift a lot of weights and you can't do it. It's a 20-minute whole body, low to no impact fitness, not necessarily just us, like EMS in general. And that's what we're here to impart on you. The third one is just another example of her doing a little bit more aggressive approach. Again, each exercise and each workout is catered to your level of fitness as to what you can and cannot do and what your goals are.
Next slide, please.
Okay, so now we'll dive a little bit more into EMS and Parkinson's, and we will reference two studies. We're providing the information as to where the studies can be found. The first study that we're going to highlight some of the results from was conducted on May 20th, or was published on May 20th, 2021. And then it was picked up by the Parkinson's News Today magazine, and it was published on May 27th in 2021. And it talks about within Parkinson's patients how EMS increased strength and endurance. And it was published by Dr. Steve Bryson.
So if we go into the results, this can get a little bit weedsy, but I just really want to highlight a couple significant things. Next slide, please.
Julie, we can go next slide. Thank you.
All right. there's some blood serum markers that are affected in this, and that's fantastic. You can spend years researching that stuff and not fully understand it. But main takeaway is that the importance of promoting the survival of nerve cells affected in Parkinson's, because this is a neurodegenerative disease. Having the capacity to at least maintain the neural function that someone has at the time of completing training is a significant finding in being able to stave off the negative effects of Parkinson's on the long term. One of the more practical takeaways is that using some of the more common tests that are used in the medical community, physical therapy, all of that, this type of training is showing improvements in all of those objective tests. And so one of the best ways that we know how, as in the fitness and the medical field, to check to see if what we're doing is working is by using a very objective, standardized test, giving someone an intervention, whether it's a drug or a fitness regime, or in this case, whole body EMS training, and then retesting that exact same thing to see if there was an improvement. And in all of these very common tests, there is improvement showing. So patients are getting generally stronger. They're able to perform more repetitions of the same exercise. They're able to do more sit to stands, which is a very, very applicable skill needed in just activities of daily living and navigating daily situations. And then soda pop test it's just another one of those common tests that we use. But the main takeaway is that people were improving on these objective tests, and it's verifiable, and the research is showing that. You could go to the next one, please.
The next slide, again, highlights another study that was conducted in 2023, so very, very recent, and it was published, it was published in 2023. It was conducted over time, and this was out of Italy. And here, the whole body EMS effects on serum biomarkers, physical performances, and fatigue in Parkinson's patients, randomized controlled trial. And again, this is available online as well, and I think we shared a copy with the team, and we'll be happy to share it again as well.
So main takeaways here, if you go to the results slide.
Yeah, and this one is more numerical approach that we wanted to share with you, whereas the other one we were sharing with you the overall results.
Yeah, no, of course. And it's showing truly some of the very same things. And so in this study, they used a broader approach to some of those objective tests. And so what this one showed specifically is an arm curl, a sit to stand, a 6-minute walk test, and a balance test. So if you are correlating, I can show you the soda pop test later down the road. I just saw that.
So the soda pop test is that they will have as part of the test, it's a cardboard. There are 6 circles. There are 3 soda pops or soda cans. Mm-hmm. They're completely full, and the patient has to flip it, and then they have to flip it back, and put it in the 6 different, or the circles. And that's part of the soda pop test to take a look at how quickly and how accurately one is able to put the soda pop, the cans, from the initial circle to the next circle. So there are 3 cans, 6 circles, and you have to move the can from one circle to the other circle.
Exactly. And so usually that test is used as a general metric for how well patients are able to interact with objects in their daily life. So if for driving the transfer isn't 1-to-1, but similar things, opening a door and all of that. And so it's a decent correlation to day-to-day activities that patients have to perform very frequently. And this just says it more. So an arm curl test, picking things up, taking things to grocery bags, or picking up grandchildren. In the sit to stand, that one is just the amount of times that someone can get up and down within 30 seconds. That one it's a muscular endurance test. And one of the other cool things that this is showing is that these tests are testing skills that are not specific to one type of muscle quality, which is very interesting. So as a quick background, muscular endurance is the ability for someone to do something at a 50% intensity level repeatedly, versus a balance test is something that involves more like neural awareness and like sight and vestibular awareness. 6-minute walk test is another endurance type thing, but an arm curl test is getting more into the muscular strength zone, which is being able to perform maximal bouts of things. So like a push or a pull as hard as someone can. And so it's showing that these results are more diversified than, it's not that EMS only helps one component of overall fitness and capacity, it helps multiple, which is cool.
One thing that we'll mention, and we don't, by the way, expect you to read any of the chart on the right side. We just wanted to show that as that the data points are there. As you do get a chance to read through this, and if you do, great. If you don't, that's fine. But when you come to FITOPIA, we'll talk about two different type of frequencies. There is something called a low frequency, and one is a high frequency. Low frequency is 1 hertz all the way through 33 hertz, where we're simulating a cardio setting without having you run or jog or anything like that. It just simulates a cardio setting. High frequency is 66 hertz up to 100 hertz. And that is simulating strength settings so that you're doing heavy weights. Again, you have no weights in your hands, but it simulates that you're using heavy weights. So the study here talks a little bit about LFG and HFG, which is low frequency group, high frequency group, and then CG is a control group. And from an EMS perspective, from our side, the low frequencies we run at 7 hertz and at 21 hertz. And in one of our studios, we started running at 33 hertz. The high frequency, we run at 85 hertz. So we have both of these frequencies available to our clients.
Yeah, to just target a multitude of different fitness goals within the same session is the main takeaway there.
Yeah, the conclusion of this study, and we actually put it on a piece of paper here just for our own purposes. And I'll just read it. The aerobic-based intervention with low intensity WBEMS, so it's a low intensity, is a low frequency, as was just mentioned, confirmed itself as the best choice for PD patients, improving growth factors release of both
Blood
markers and fatigue decrease. The whole body EMS additions allowed the PD patients to reduce their time of weekly exercise. So they started coming 20 minutes 2 times a week versus 1 hour and a half 3 times a week, such as in conventional aerobic training. So that was a conclusion of this study. And again, we'll be happy to reshare that information.
Next slide, please.
Perfect.
So this is our specific case study. So we do have, I've worked with a client who has PD. And when she presented, one of her main things that she noticed that she needed is like, I need to be able to just put on a jacket. Like she was having a combination of strength and range of motion issues too. And well, that's not specifically like if you were to go online, look up what does EMS do? Range of motion isn't necessarily on there, but that's where we get to use our skill set as specialized trainers in conjunction with this tool to be able to craft very unique training plans to get people where they need to go. And so one of the things, as far as that was in the back of our mind. She wanted to be able to pour a cereal box, which is highly correlated to that soda pop test we were talking about earlier, and be able to put on a jacket. So those were what we said, okay, those are going to be our measurements of how well are you doing. And then we started everyone even though at some point we didn't quite know how it would affect her. We tried starting with the kind of the basis. We made sure, hey, okay, we know she wants to get here, but we know she has some back pain. So we started with some of the pain alleviation stuff. Then we started gradually building into, okay, these are some motions that you're going to be able to need to do to get a jacket on. So we increased some strength. We just gave her some light dumbbells, and we started without dumbbells entirely. We started her just moving her muscles the way she needs to go. And we started because, being this like external rotation, we needed to get her there. And so we started doing a combination of some stretches and some strengthening exercises. And then within the 2 to 3 months, she was able to significantly improve her strength so that now she could actually get her arm back far enough to be able to put that jacket on. Whereas before she didn't even have the strength to do that and was entirely dependent on her caregiver to get that jacket on. Within 4 to 5 months, we got that. We were able to, using a combination of the EMS and just good exercise selection, get her to accomplish the goal that she wanted to. And now, like the fun just hasn't stopped, right? And so she's seeing improvements. Her functional capacity to do life activities has massively increased. And so now she's like, hey, can I do some push-ups? Can I do some ball slams, which is taking a 10-pound ball and throwing it into the ground, which objectively feels amazing. I think everybody should do more ball slams because it's very cathartic. But the story is that she was able to accomplish what she came in to do over a 4 to 5 month period. Now, I'm not going to say that everyone is going to accomplish their goals in 4 to 5 months, right? Everyone's coming in with different needs, different disease progressions, and we will need to individually evaluate you and work based on where you want to go, give you sub goals and work you in your own progression. But this is just a very real example of how we took someone and worked the process that we're talking about with them to get them where they needed to go. All right, next slide, please.
So we're reaching towards the conclusion at this point here. We wanted to make sure that you had a basic understanding what EMS is, electrical muscle stimulation, who we are as FITOPIA, that we do have 2.5 years of experience under our belt in our Westchester location. We've been in Red Bank for over a year. We have done 15,000 training sessions. We have experience with multitudes of types of clients with MS, HSP, high blood pressure, arthritis, and one client with Parkinson's. Everyone's needs are different. Everyone's quality of life definition is different. And we can absolutely try to help to get to where you want to get to. We do offer free introductory sessions to our clients. And we do have 5 contraindications. If you have a pacemaker, epilepsy, if you're expecting cancer, kidney disease we can talk about that a little bit. It's in some cases a relative contraindication. And I am going to sit down with Julia afterwards and sit down with Nancy and Maureen afterwards as well. We'll work on some of the prices. I just wanted to showcase that our prices are $35 to $45 a session, but we will work with Julia and Maureen and the team to see if we can develop a good pricing for you. We do focus on driving results. You know, our goal is to help help reverse muscle atrophy, improve the core muscles. And we are only happy that the results coming back from the different studies indicate that Parkinson patients are also seeing similar results, that they're improving their muscles, they're improving in a lot of different aspects, including coordination as well, too, where it actually helps improve the quality of life. And again, we did throw one slide in there to let you know that we did not forget about the caretakers, that with caretakers, you would fall into, if the caretakers on the call as well, you will fall into one of the categories of your 50 plus, you're new to fitness, and we help you in similar manner as we're helping the Parkinson clients as well too. The easiest way to get a hold of us is please talk to Maureen, please talk to Julia and Nancy. Secondarily, you can get in touch with us through the email address, which is info@fitopiaems.com. You can learn a little bit more about us in general on our website, and we have 2 locations. Like I said, one is near MedPace and Red Bank, and the other one is in Westchester near the UC Hospital. We'll go to the next, let's go to the 2 slides from now. We added a reference slide for your purposes here. Too far. It's like that Nissan commercial. No, you went too far. Okay. So here, we just want you to know that we have provided some technical information. As you talk to your physician, as you talk to your PCP, Dr. Espe, or whomever about what EMS is about, we wanted to make sure that you have some technical information. So we wanted to get that on the screen. So whenever you're replaying it, you can go to the last slide over here, and it gives the data points as to what EMS components are and what the different frequencies are that we utilize. So now we can go back to the slide before. Thank you, Julia, for that. And we'll open up to any and every question that are out there. And we'll open up the chat as well too.
Hi, I'm Denise. May I start off with some questions?
By all means.
Yes, please.
So to start, do you look for a referral from the client's physician?
We can. We don't have. We are a self-pay environment, so if there is a referral, if there's a contraindication that that is being tripped, then we definitely need a referral and acceptance from the physician. Other than that, as if the physician is aware of what EMS is, great. If they're not aware, that's fine as well too. We can provide the data points to you so you can provide to your physician, so it's easy for them.
Okay, so what you're saying is also you do not need medical clearance.
You do not need medical clearance. That is correct.
Okay.
And,
Does it hurt?
so have you ever experienced any sort of e-stim in a physical therapy setting before?
Uh-huh.
It is the exact same sensation. And one of the things we're very diligent about, especially on that first session, is working you up very slowly. So the exact thing that I tell clients is that, hey, what I'm going to, after they get the suit on and we're turning the stem up, we go muscle group by muscle group and we'll say, okay, I want you to let me know the second you feel any sensation, and then I will turn it up slowly. When they feel the sensation, they'll say, okay, I know what that is. And then I tell them, I want you to get to a 5 out of 10 intensity level for this first session. Typically, more experienced clients are getting up to that 7, 8 intensity level. But for the first one, we'll start them off very slow to make sure that everyone is acclimated to the feeling. And then it's very interesting because do you know how if you go into a room and something smells bad, it's terrible for the first 2 minutes and then it's just it fades? It's the same exact neurological phenomenon. And so as the session goes up, your body is actually able to acclimate to slightly higher amounts of stim every 3 to 4 minutes per se. And so we are able to gradually increase the intensity without any noticeable perception on the side of the client, which is it's an interesting neurological phenomenon. However, no, it does not hurt. If you want it to hurt, we'll get there, but no.
No, I'm not looking for that, but
All right.
thank you.
And continuing on with the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, continue.
I was going to mention that there's a question from Marion.
Go ahead.
Oh, there's a question from Marion that once the exercise is over, how do you mitigate against the muscle pain or spasms? The muscle pain typically will come from the lactic acid buildup, and we recommend the clients to, 1, drink a lot of water, B, keep your movement going, C, have some protein in you because your body and your muscles are going to crave some protein as well. With that said, as Dan mentioned, on a 1 to 10 scale, if we keep it at 5, 5.5, and as we turn up the intensity stays 5, 5.5, that means your body is able to manage it well. After the first couple of times when your muscles are a little bit sore, your body will start getting used to it. Your body will start recovering faster as well too. It will know how to flush out the lactic acid a little bit more effectively, and you'll see over time that your body will start getting used to it.
Yes, it's a very similar acclimation process to truly any new type of exercise, right? So it's the same basic principles, and we just make sure that we don't send someone over the edge on the first session, right? Because one of the things that we have in the back of our mind as well is if you come in and you get a fantastic workout, but for the next 3 days you're completely floored and can't move, we did not do our job right. Yeah. And so that's something that we heavily consider and make sure that we work individually with clients on to make sure we're managing that exercise load intensity progression at an appropriate rate. All right. Did you have any further questions? I know we kind of jumped ship there for a sec.
Oh, so if I understood you correctly, you like to have your clients come in 2 times a week to judge progress?
Yeah, so depending on what your goals are, how much time you have, and how fast you want to get to your goals, that is a dictating factor. And if you're already fit to a certain level, you can come in twice a week. If you want to start slow, you want to do once a week, you can do once a week. What we were showcasing was in the study that was done, and the conclusion that was built on that study was they recommended the clients come in 2 times a week. And at that point, we also get a chance to mix the low frequency and the high frequency combination. So you're maximizing your 20-minute workout.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
how long does it benefit you with chronic Parkinson's disease? How long does it last?
So can you be more specific when you're referring to it? Are you referring to the effects of the like one
Right.
exercise?
I just want to know the benefits of using your equipment over a long period of time with Parkinson's. Do we stay with you twice a week for infinity or or what?
Yeah, so that's one thing that we will refer to is we will maybe need to talk to some more of our physician partners on this one.
Yeah.
However, the research in Parkinson's population, well, it is taking a significant uptick, maybe doesn't have all of the answers to the long-term effects because this technology has only been available for 2 years within the US. We don't quite have the numbers on like these long-term effects. However, acute short term is showing significant benefit. And so it's reasonable to conclude that there can be benefits in the short term. And then if those benefits are strung together over a longer period of time, I don't see why that would change based on the numbers we have available to us right now.
So while I'm not an exercise specialist, we know that the guidelines on exercise in PD are actually 7 days a week to exercise. So I don't think that you could expect the results of this type of training, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. It's not, it has to be ongoing, right? Exercise has to be ongoing. So whichever avenue you choose, whichever type of exercise that you want, if you have Parkinson's disease, you have to embrace that. And it goes on as long as you're able, because it will help you stay mobile, and move.
Yeah, one of the comments that I do want to say is if you have, as you get stronger, as you gain your quality of life, then you can put yourself in a maintenance mode with us. You'll see that you're able to walk outside as well too. You can, if you want to join a regular gym and say, okay, I'm going to drop this to 1 time a week. And at a certain point, you're just like, hey, I'm very, very comfortable doing exercise on my own because A, I've gained confidence, B, I've gained the strength that I needed, C, I've gained my quality of life. Then you should switch over, and you can switch over. We're not necessarily a means to, or we're not necessarily the end, we're a means to an end. And to Maureen's point, when you can get to the point where you're comfortable working out on a daily basis, at least going for walks and things like that, please do so. Just do it in a responsible manner, do it in a way you're not hurting yourself. There's a question about the cost piece of it. Our prices currently, and I'll put a caveat here, our prices currently are $35 to, I'll say about $40 a session. We have put in like $45 a session. With that said, please allow us an opportunity to talk to Maureen, to Julia, and to Nancy to see what we can do from a pricing perspective. And then we'll give you, or they will give you a better idea on that later.
I love the idea that, it's a 20-minute workout, but how long does it take to get all those things attached before the 20-minute workout? And how long before you get undressed again after the 20-minute workout?
Honestly, it is truly about a 30-minute commitment in total. And so what you'll do is you walk like the flow on a day is you walk in, and one of the things that can augment that a little bit is we, if needed, will provide, there's a certain undergarment that you have to wear to allow for the electrical conductivity. But if people are interested, they can purchase their own suits, and that takes away a good 5 minutes of the process, getting dressed and undressed pre and post session. If you want to, assume someone even doesn't have their suit, they'll come in, we provide them a suit, they'll go to the changing room. However long it would take someone to change from typical street clothes into, think of like an Under Armour type thermal gear, top and bottom. That's what the clients have to change into. When they come out, it really doesn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes to get the actual suit on. The trainers are very, very quick at this. And then they're exercising, and then it takes even less time to take the suit off afterwards, and then however long it would take you to change back into street clothes.
So I just want to clarify, there is an undergarment, t-shirt, and shorts that you wear underneath the jacket that you want to showcase the jacket again. So underneath this item right here. And so for us to put this item onto you, it's about a minute, minute and a half. It takes a little bit longer time to, when you come out into your street clothes, you change into that specialized undergarment, t-shirt and shorts. That takes about 3-4 minutes to get into it, to get out of that as well too. As Dan said, the clients purchase that, and we don't really make any money on that anyway. And that price is $60. It's nothing extraordinary. And there, a lot of our clients will just come dressed in that. And then they come in and we apply that product onto there. 20 minutes, you're done. So it's pretty much a 30-minute in and out experience.
Thanks. If there's no more questions, I just want to thank you two again for this opportunity to learn about electrical muscle stimulation.